Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Luscious Living podcast. I am so excited to share a topic that I've been preparing for myself. I feel ready for. Although I love summer so much, it is my favorite month to be reading outside, going for long walks in the park. That is my favorite thing. Just being social, because usually in school mode, I am a student of traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. I am in hermit mode. I am in the grind. I am kind of hermit mode is the best way to describe it. And so in the summer, it's been so nice to see friends and be out and about. And soon it will be time to go back to hermit mode and to prepare for this upcoming fall, whether you're a student, you are a parent, maybe you're retired, is really looking at how can we have little micro habits that make us feel good, that make us feel comforted, make us feel healthy and organized for that fall season. I love the energy of September. I mean, it's probably from habit, but that back to school energy is just so wonderful. So I'm going to share with you my tips for really feeling the most organized, productive, and healthy version of yourself as well. So, number one is lists for the pantry and the freezer. I just did a grocery stock up primarily for the freezer and the cupboard. And the things I like to have around are going to be quick grab and go ingredient staples for things like soups. And I'll share with you in a moment what they are. But soups have the deep freeze filled, have things that I can defrost quickly, that when it's busy, we are on the go. I'm not thinking about, oh, I don't have this ingredient and this food. It's already there. And then the weekly grocery trip just really ends up being fresh produce and fresh fruit. Not that there is a crazy amount of fresh fruit in Canada in the winter, anyways. But the things that I like to keep in the freezer are always going to be chicken. And so we buy the big packs and we split them up into 3 or 4 different portions. And that way I can easily defrost it and have some meal prep for us at home. Okay, so I like to have either some kind of fish. I like to have pork chops, not for myself, but for my fiance. Then we have fish as well, usually portioned out already. I love having fresh fruit or fresh fruit, frozen fruit. So blueberries is primarily, we always buy those big bags of blueberries. You could do raspberries, you could do mix. I always also have so many bags of vegetables. So Costco has these, Walmart has these, Superstore has these, everywhere will have them. But either I always have a thing of whole broccoli and in the freezer, and I always make broccoli soups. I am always roasting broccoli in the fall, really all year round, but roasting it specifically, where I had those stir fry mixes with bell peppers, and maybe there's Brussels sprouts, maybe there's broccoli and cauliflower, carrots, things like that. I always have these in the freezer year round. They make life so much easier, and they're actually sometimes even more nutritious because they are frozen right at the time that they are ripe, versus here when we buy them fresh, we don't know how long they've been out. Then they end up staying in your fridge for a week or two. So it is not worth to buy them frozen. I get that question quite a bit. And they don't have to taste bad. Just don't overcook them. Add a bit of seasoning to it, and they can be absolutely delicious, healthy, and really easy to just pull out veggies. Whether you're having pizza or you're having something that's a little bit leaner, then you can always have fresh, okay, you can always have vegetables. You get what I mean. Okay, so then there's that freezer list. Then I always have foods in the pantry. These kinds of foods are going to be easy to make other things with, such as soup. Okay, I'm a big soup girl in the fall. So I always have beans. I always have dried beans, especially if you have issues when you eat beans from the can, which is very normal. You want to actually buy beans dried, soak them overnight, and then cook them. It is more of a process, but you are going to get the benefit for your gut doing that. Okay. So if we have coconut milks, chia seeds, cans of tuna, cans of sardines, quinoa, rice, Then I'm looking at, I also have broths in there. Again, I mentioned beans. I have pasta. I always make sure. Oh, and things like canned diced tomatoes, canned tomato paste. I always have these in the pantry, and I'm always making sure I stock up on this because it is just so easy to grab and go. I have everything I need to make most of the soups. Okay. And then I always also make sure that I have the right Tupperwares, I have the right, like for example, I think everyone has something like this where you can put your tea in, but I also have one for soup. I have one for coffee separately because in the past I know that every time I've put them together, my green tea ends up having a bit of a coffee taste, no matter how much baking soda I've put in my mug there. So I love having those things. I always prefer glass Tupperware, and I have a lunch bag. I recommend having a lunch bag for yourself. That way you can always put things in their spot, grab them, and go. Okay, you don't have to forget anything. Now, when it comes to beauty and wellness, I always make sure now, especially after last fall, I noticed that the insides of my nose were so dry, and how I knew that is at night because where I live gets really dry, even with the humidifier. I could not breathe. And I got some acupuncture done, which is so helpful. But then I also knew that I needed to increase my omega-3 intake. So I got cod liver oil, and as soon as I got that, I was good to go. Okay. So especially if where you live is super dry, but especially if you're looking for brain health benefits, if you're looking for joint health benefits, then you definitely need an omega-3. Okay. So I have all of that ordered already. It's in that cod liver oil is in the fridge. I make sure that I have vitamin D for the season, even though if you do have cod liver oil, it's wild, you will get vitamin D, but I just know I thrive on lots of vitamin D. So I have my vitamin D ready. I have my magnesium ready. I have my herbal teas. So when I was working from home most of the time, I had the bulk herbs like chamomile and nettle, etc. But now that I am in school full time, I have those tea bags and I carry those everywhere I go. I make sure I bought them so that I can grab and go throughout the day when I'm in school. I even have a little thing of instant coffee that I bring with me as well. Okay. So I have all of that ready. Hair products that I need from, go to a curl warehouse, it's called, and make sure that I have my hair products. I actually have my makeup products. I have my concealers and mascara, all of that already, so that in the chaos of September and then all of a sudden the holidays come up, there's just so much going on. There's midterms. I don't want to be going in and around the city just for one or two things. So I have it all ready. And then what I do is in the beginning of each season, move the appropriate clothing back into the dressers downstairs. So I'll be sadly moving a lot of my summer dresses back downstairs, bringing my sweaters back up. And I like to be able to rotate clothing. That way it just clears any bit of, um, it just makes things nice and organized, which I absolutely love. Same with summer shoes, make sure everything is cleaned. I also dry clean any jackets that I'm going to need for the winter as well, because the last thing, and I'm speaking from experience, the last thing you want to do is need to wear your winter jacket, but it should have been washed months ago. Okay, so there's that. Then the other aspect of this is priority management, and that comes to really the home organization, as well as the calendar. So when it comes to the home, making sure that little things like maybe the windows are washed, the flooring is scrubbed, making sure that all those little like compost bags, grocery bags, having big garbage bags, all of those are also stocked. Ziploc bags, cellophane wrap, all of those. Again, it just helps you to avoid any bit of chaos, and just it also just makes it feel really nice to have those products at home already where you have the backup. Okay. Same with cleaners, things like that. And when it comes to the calendar, even ahead of time, I have put my school calendar on the fridge. It's also in my calendar on Google, which is what I use. And everything is already in there. I know what time I'm done. I know what time the class is. I know what time the schedule starts and ends, and that way it just helps me to get things done way ahead of time. I actually did this a few even months ago because I just as soon as I found out the calendar, I wanted to make sure it was up in my calendar and I was ready to go. And now the other aspect is to really have the home cozy for the fall. I have to say, I do love that because I'm most of the time outside in the summer, and now, bringing back pumpkin decorations and having, you know, um, like the pillows, the bedding, the candles, all of those things make a huge difference in how we feel in the fall season. And so for homework, I would recommend having a pantry list for yourself. What are the key things that you need, such as pastas, the rice, the maybe canned tomatoes, canned soup, whatever it is, making sure you have a list on your phone. My sister, I believe, even makes a note on her freezer, even as a checklist. I like to do the same thing with the freezer. Then I make sure that, and then I'd recommend to make sure that you look at your beauty products, your shampoos, your conditioners, your body washes. What do you need so that you can eliminate and reduce chaos as much as possible? Maybe that means doing online ordering or a subscription plan. Maybe that looks like you do the delivery from your grocery store. Okay. Maybe that also looks at looking at getting a cleaner or having a meal delivery service. Maybe that's a big part of what your new chapter is involved with. Looking at, okay, your clothing. Do you need a certain kind of boot or a hat or a base layer, whatever it is? Do you need a supplement that would really help you? Do you have your appointments booked? For example, I've already booked my hair appointment so that I don't have to deal with the holiday chaos. I know in about that time I'm going to need a haircut, etc. Okay, so making sure, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, those things, your acupuncturist, your nutritionist appointment are on your calendar, so you are setting yourself up for success. And also looking at what are the things that can romanticize your fall? Is it a pumpkin spice latte mix with mushroom powders? Is it a beautiful new candle? Is it a different shower curtain that you get that's more fall themed? So it does not have to be expensive at all, but just something that makes you feel good because you will be spending some more time at home. And the last thing is to make sure that your calendar is synced to your schedule that's ahead of time and really making sure you're setting yourself up for success. So that is what I have for you. I hope that this helps. Happy almost fall to you, and I will talk to you soon. Mwah.